The reason you can't forgive is not what you think. What if I told you the biggest reason that you cannot reach your goals is not because of your talent, it's not because of the thing that you don't have. The real reason is that you will not forgive. Let's unpack this. I know that hurts. I know that's like, ouch, KK, why did you say that? Let's unpack it. So if you're new around here, I'm KK Smith, your Rise and Thrive guide. And around here, we talk all about mindset shifts, getting back up again, and rebuilding your life with God at the center from the inside out. So today I want to unpack forgiveness. This is going to be so good. Grab your coffee and let's go. So today's verse I want to talk about is Ephesians 4:31 through 34. And it reads, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Oh my goodness. So when I was unpacking this, right, when I was thinking about delivering this message, a video came across the screen last night. My husband and I were watching, and it was this man who was outraged at another man, his friend, right? Well, his once-time friend. And the thing about this video that was so interesting about forgiveness is something that he said towards the end. He said, if you would have come to me, I didn't even know you felt this way before you got on all these platforms and talked about the situation. And one thing I thought about is that we don't talk about the hurt and the pain and the anger that unforgiveness causes, right? So, three things I want to talk about today with unforgiveness. Sometimes you are hurt, sometimes you are angry, and sometimes you are simply stuck, right? Let's unpack this. So, sometimes you are just so hurt about the situation, and for some reason, however old we are, whether we are 10 years old, 13, 20s, 50s, 70s, for some reason, we cannot talk about it. We sit in church, we sit in Bible study, all the things, but you cannot go to that person and say, hey, that was very hurtful. That was very shameful. I'm just simply hurt. But what does it do? It gets a root. It plants a seed. Unforgiveness plants a seed in your heart, and that seed starts to grow and blossom into all these ugly and unsightful flowers, right? And you become bitter and more angry every time you see that person, every time you think about that situation. And then there's anger. That anger comes, right? That anger kind of settles in your heart to where you are now, it has turned to rage. That once hurt, bitterness, now it has turned to anger and sometimes rage. And the thing about this that's really interesting that I wanted to unpack, sometimes the story that we tell ourselves about the situation, right? About the hurt, about the thing that happened between two people or a person in a situation or a person in an opportunity, sometimes the story gets changed along the way. When I was in second grade, Mr. Richardson was our teacher in Tallahassee, Florida. And the thing that he did, it really lasted. It left an impression in my life for all of this time. I am in my 50s and I still remember this. He lined us up on the wall. He told one person a story. And so it was probably about 22 kids in our class, and he told one person the story. By the time it got all the way down to the last person, it was nothing like Mr. Richardson told in that first person's ear, right? So anger and bitterness is something like this. When we accept these stories of why we can't forgive someone, right? The story changes over time. The story gets bigger, the hurt gets bigger, and the overall hurt is hurting us because of the story that we keep telling ourselves. Why can't we just stop, think about what we're thinking about, and tell ourselves a whole different story? Now, so your friend bitterness comes to visit, right? And bitterness has turned to anger, but first it started with hurt. And now here comes your other faithful friend, which is being stuck. Now let's unpack this. Sometimes you are so stuck. I know I have seen people that have hurt me, or I have been in a season of unforgiveness. And when I see this person, I am simply stuck. I said, Lord, I'm going to speak. Lord, I am going to show this person that I really forgive them. Lord, I'm going to show this person that I'm bigger and I could rise above it. When my children were little, especially my girls who are probably 5 years apart, and they would be arguing, and I would always say, who's going to rise above it? And in unison, both of their hands would go up, right? And depending on which girl was hurt the most, or which girl was arguing with the other one or had the upper hand, the first one with their hand up, I would just congratulate. I am so happy that you are rising above it. You are being the bigger person. Now, how many of mamas are sitting out there with all of this knowledge about forgiveness, and we teach our kids about forgiveness, and we even have our little themes just like the one that I just described, but you refuse to forgive, and that faithful friend of hurt has turned to bitterness, has turned to anger, and now you are stuck. Friend, I just stopped by to tell you that God is able to handle your unforgiveness. God is not only able to take that unforgiveness out, but He's able to do this beautiful thing with your unforgiveness. He's able to give you beauty for ashes. And I know it hurt. I know that relationship hurt. I know that friendship hurt. I know that deal that went left hurt. I know that mentorship that they were supposed to mentor you, but you got something else. I know that hurt. And I even know that hurt by that sister talking about you in church. But baby, lean in. God can take your hurt and He could give you something beautiful for that hurt. So today, I want to affirm something with you. And I want you to walk with me in this affirmation. I will lean into God when I do not understand. I will lean into God when I feel hurt, angry, and stuck. Lord, help me to forgive for real. Friends, I hope this has blessed you today. I hope this has filled your soul. I hope this has filled your coffee cup with love and godliness and the fruit that you need for today to keep going, to sustain you along your journey of forgiving for real. If this video has blessed you, share this with someone who really needs to unlock their heart towards forgiveness. So I want you to have a blessed day. I'm KK Smith, your Rise and Thrive guide. And remember, around here, you can always celebrate wins, get back up again, dive into a life lesson, and rebuild your life with God at the center. Have an amazing day. Don't forget, keep forgiving and keep loving. Rise well and remain blessed.